A series of very important roles are about to happen.
The way you said it made my butthole pucker.
Me too!
I'm having a blast, but it feels heavier.
You feel the ability to connect to the Stone of Night Song.
I would connect with it.
You can feel the rest of the Seekers kind of giving the like, ooh.
Julien, you 10 feet, whoo, bam!
I'm gonna action surge and fire this in.
Maybe that wasn't the best idea.
Ashley Johnston, how do you want to do this?
Previously on The Seekers, a druid of earth and metal, an ancient elven warrior, an undead noble pariah, and a vengeful, swaggering soldier. One night of horror changed each of their lives. Now they seek answers amid a vastly uncertain future. Vaelus has reclaimed the Stone of Nightsong, a lingering artifact of her fallen goddess, stolen by Fang. Though her mission is complete, her growing connection to Octus Taconis gives her reason to stay.
This journey has drastically changed Vaelus. When you expand your perspective, of course it's gonna change you. Vaelus's thoughts on Julien, he's a baby, and there's a lot of recognition that she has with him of that revenge, which is why I think she stayed behind with him. There's compassion for him, too. Matt is playing it so beautifully. This boy who is trying to be so strong, and his world has fallen apart. This journey that Thaisha and Vaelus specifically together, they are on completely different ends of the spectrum. Getting into the tub and her stripping down in front of her. We love shipping. We love all of that, but I think it was more a statement for Vaelus. I wanted Thaisha to see what physically the Shaper's Wars had done to me. And I think that would say enough. Thaisha being so patient with Vaelus, Vaelus already started to see that Salandri and the life that she lived was not fully reality and that it was affecting so many other people in a negative way. You know, she's had 70, 80 years to sort of learn that, and she's still learning that. And I think something like this, with Octus coming back, but he's dead, but he's alive, like what does that mean to any of the belief system that she's had at this point?
Octus is adjusting to his new undead form and grappling with the horrific truth of his family's plans and what they did to their own son.
What my family's house was trying to turn me into was called a Deva Vindicta, and didn't succeed with me due to the intervention of Thaisha and Bolaire and Murray, and I guess, Octus himself. But seeing his cousin be turned into that thing and knowing that his family somewhat succeeded in making this creature was unsettling to Octus, to say the least. There was this moment of looking into who his cousin used to be and just realizing that his family was going to just completely dispense with who he was and that he never mattered. He's in a new sort of state of being and he doesn't understand exactly what he means to the rest of the world or what he means to exist, and realizing that even what he is now, with all of its drawbacks, is better than what he was supposed to become is just a very sad moment for him. In his undead state, he's not super happy about the fact that he had to be soldered up. He was born a noble family. There is an amount of vanity that comes along with that. And I think part of him still wants to look nice. And right now he looks gross. He's not super about that. Octus and Sir Julian's relationship is obviously very complicated. Towards the end, I think we're starting to understand each other more, but I think there's a long road before they could be considered friends if that was even in the cards for them. Octus's situation with Vaelus. In the beginning, he wasn't sure why Vaelus was hanging around. She is this ethereal being, so it is a very cool person to be around. A little dangerous, but seemed to be wanting to protect him. And then to hear that, oh no, it's because Pin showed her the idea that someone's personality could be brought back from death. And I want you to do that to a being beyond comprehension is a lot. The Shapers some of them were doing terrible things. But on the other hand, as somebody who has been told their whole life they're no good, it would be incredible if he found out how to do it. The situation with Thaisha and the Druid Grove, the way Octus feels about it is that If he was such an offense to the Druid Grove, why did she bring him there? Did she not care that they were going to kill him? And just because she says she wouldn't have let that happen, she's one individual person. It is becoming very apparent to him that they were friends and they had a good relationship. And he's put a lot of trust in this person, and maybe that wasn't the best idea.
Thaisha is searching for her son, Iyengar, who Octus glimpsed fighting in a strange vision. She is fighting to protect Octus, but struggling with her own feelings about his new nature.
Thaisha knew the moment that she went to the Sean Garden, she was gonna have to stand and give a little book report on her new science project, Octus Taconis. She knew she was going to have to make proper introductions to the other druidic circles. She was no longer convinced that it was an act of pure selfishness, but something new and possibly powerful in the world. Thaisha's entire impetus for leaving Dol Makyar, other than wanting to look out for Octus and be there for Nessa, was also so driven by this selfish desire for her to make sure that her son was safe. She crossed into this broken bit of the world to make sure that Iyengar was okay. And hearing via snippets of prophecy and conversations with ghosts that he survived, it's one of those very bitter, hollow wins. The mission that's still not quite complete, that's gonna keep pushing you forward. The fundamental tension between the backgrounds in Ashley and my characters are something that I've been so excited to delve into. The idea that someone that long-lived would lack the perspective to see how hurtful that fidelity to an old system might be exists in a space where Thaisha both judges it and deeply wants to understand it. The grief that's been sidestepped then moves into rage and singular purpose is the thing that keeps Sir Julien walking and moving. He is a level of protection and competency that this group sorely needs, but is a wild liability.
Julien was once directionless, but the murder of his family has given him a purpose: revenge against House Taconis.
Without revenge, Julien would be a fuck-off hedonist. I think the pain of his father and having that comfort crumbled beneath him has definitely shaken him to a point of being more forthright and responsible for the time being. Julien's conflicted over having to spend this journey so close to Octus. He's a perpetual reminder of House Taconis and what they've done to him and his family and what are threatening to likely do to everybody else he cares about. But he's slowly beginning to see how much of a victim Octus is as well. Julien's lost a lot of things in his life. Octus has lost everything. That has helped him feel less tense with him, but he also doesn't trust that even Octus is fully aware of his purpose and what he's capable of. He sees Octus as a tool and a safe bet towards drawing out House Taconis to a place where he could continue to tear down their house in the way they promised they'd tear down his. Julien has a bit of resentment towards Vaelus and Thaisha, partially because they're so protective of Octus for what's happened to him, yet have shown very little care to what he's lost and what he's gone through. I mean, he'd never admit it, but I think he very quickly realized nobody here really cares about me. And as much as there is kind of an instinct to protect, he's not letting himself get too close because of that. Julien's reasoning for sending Aranessa to the Golden Orchard on her own stemmed from the confluence of him understanding that all these events are much larger than them. Was it the need for answers and vengeance, or was it the protection of his family? And he trusted Aranessa enough to be like, I know that you'll do what's right to protect them. I need to be present for my vengeance. He is compartmentalizing hard. He had a brief moment to where he could even allow a bit of emotion with the loss of his father and their complicated relationship, but it was just a moment. So yeah, he's just pushing it all down, which, never comes up later and never turns into a powder keg of dangerous emotion. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Though the Seekers still have unanswered questions, they decide to return to Dol Makyar with evidence of House Taconis' horrifying work. But who will listen to their incredible story when they return? And will their tales be believed?